Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Glenna Rice here, and I'm here with my friend Mohnish Malhotra from India, who's actually
Yay!
who's in the US right now. We just went to the fabulous, what class? We were just at Maestro together last weekend.
Maestro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because Mohnish is coming to the Bay Area, where I live in San Francisco, to do a class on entities, which I actually have never taken, which totally surprises me. But the 2-day talk to the entity class, which I have not officially taken. I've done lots of entity things over the years, but this class has not done one that I've actually been able to sit in my schedule. So I'm really excited to be hosting you here and bringing you to the Bay Area. So entities, how did you get into this? How did you, I mean, you've been an access facilitator for a bit now, and you chose to become
Yes.
a talk to the entities facilitator. What inspired you to choose?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for the introduction. And I'm so excited to be coming to Bay Area. I've never been there before. So, first time. How cool is that? For me, I didn't know, like, in cognitive sense, that I was talking to entities. But for those of you who don't know, I grew up in India, and like there are billions of people. And going with that awareness, there are more entities in India. So it was just sort of what you take as default and normal and not pay so much credence to. So as life went on, I started, feeling, thinking, sensing things that other people were not, to the extent that basically doctors and medical professionals told me that I was schizophrenic and paranoid and bipolar, etc.
Wow.
And basically, for me, it was a matter of life and death to kind of stumble upon these tools. Like, I I was quite embarrassed of everything that was going around. A, I was gay, and then B, I thought I was like a trouble anyway, and now this like mental chatter all the time. So believe me or not, I was actually waiting to die. I was trying to kill myself, trying to make it look like an accident so that, my friends and parents won't be ashamed. And long story short, the last one I did was like I set my house on fire, and I kind of, you know, woke up in the middle of the night with my bed on fire, thinking to myself, am I in hell already? But that wasn't that. And then, I took care of that fire, slept in the other room, and 2 days later, somebody called me from somebody I knew from like my PR business, the media industry. Some editor's husband called me and told me about Access. They want me to meet somebody to do PR for them. And that's the first time I heard about Access, literally 2 days later after this accident. And then I chose to do a session with this local facilitator. They asked me a series of questions, and logically, I was not supposed to know any answers, but intuitively, I kept saying yes, no. And it was quite surreal, strange, etc. And one of the questions I was asked in that session was if I was aware of entities and demons. And then, like it was literally out of a movie scene. I keep like feeling me jumping outside of my body and coming in my body. Like everything was like the proprioception during that session. It was undeniable. It was so intense, interesting, and in my face. I was like, I must learn what this is. But what that session allowed me to do and create was, with that choice, I never had to touch sleeping pills, which I was taking 20 in a day, and some other pills and drugs or other narcotics. So something that I was trying to change for 9 years actually changed for me overnight. And I stopped being that, that much paranoid. That led me to ask a question, what is access and who is access and what is this? How can I learn more of this? And then I started exploring more of these tools, and incredibly honored and privileged to actually travel around the world now and talk about these tools and invite others to see what they think is kind of unchangeable. Is there a possibility that it's an awareness of something they yet haven't discovered?
That's an amazing story. One night, one session, and
One night, yeah.
sleeping
Hmm.
pills were, and we as an access facilitator for years, miracle stories are almost the normal
Yeah, yeah.
now, but sometimes hearing stuff like it's just truly amazing. I mean, I know my
Yeah.
things that I had been wanting to change for 20 years changed after my first foundation class, which is,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, Access is one of the core classes we offer.
Yeah.
So you were aware of entities, you found out you had been aware of entities, and now you're choosing to
Yeah.
teach the class about entities.
Yeah.
You know, and this class gives you tools, really
Mm-hmm.
pragmatic tools
Mm-hmm.
to help you have this awareness of what you can have ease or be able to sleep
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, like, what do you love about teaching this class? What's your favorite
So
story
it
about it?
is then like
Yeah.
it's it's okay. So I want to like present an exercise, a small one for everybody listening now and later in the future. Just relax for a moment wherever you are and take a deep breath and ask for all of the entities in your house, in your room, in your building to step out and leave the building and the house. Now, ask for all of the entities in 1 mile block to stop, to start to push away, to start to stand aside. And as you ask this cooperation, you also simultaneously acknowledging that they exist and notice what shows up in your body, in your space. Is there relaxation? Is there some movement of energy? What is it for you? Because that is the first stepping stone into acknowledging that almost like we can't see the microbe world, and it is the catalyst for pretty much everything we eat and digest or how we're creating our bodies. There are these beings. Not all are good, not all are bad. Some are there to contribute, and some are there like troublemakers. And this is basically a language for you to learn. Once you have this vocabulary and skill set, how would you like to navigate and create your life
I
using
love
this?
that exercise. That was just like really letting people know they don't have to be effective entities, that they
Yeah,
actually have potency
yeah.
and can ask entities to do something different. They don't
Mm-hmm.
have to be this scary, weird thing that haunts you at night or frightens you in buildings or whatever people have had with them, or some ancestor or old family member that's passed and not, being able to talk to them, but knowing there's that desire.
Yeah.
Really cool. What did I notice? I think my house is pretty entity free of entities that I wouldn't want around. But when I went out further, which I haven't
Mm-hmm.
before, I could
Mm-hmm.
feel like almost like this pathway or some energy.
Right.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
so that was really cool for me. And my body got excited actually. It's more like,
Yeah.
woo, what else? I
Yeah.
haven't been aware of.
Absolutely. And we have so many myths about entities. Like one of the primary things that I invite others to look is entities don't experience time and space like we do in our bodies, because there is a different sense of motion, movement, time, and space with the bodies. But literally, some entities can be hanging around there for a million years and not knowing it's a million years, because time is not a construct in their reality. So if there is somebody who's trying to talk to you for 18 lifetimes and still hanging out for you to be aware, like there are stories one hears about. I was working with this woman who started developing cancer, and I asked her, when did this occur? She's like, shortly after my mother died. I was like, how did she die? She's like, she had cancer. I was like, where did she have it? She's like, exactly here. So it's like, is it possible she's trying to talk to you? Now, this is not to scare you and say entities can create cancer in your body, but this was an awareness of her body when she was not acknowledging this entity of her mother was trying to communicate. She started pressing on her body, and then her body started to show that as a cancer symptom. But when she dealt with it, it changed for her. So it's like,
another
how does it
another
get
miracle
better?
story. Yeah, how does it get any better than that? Another miracle story. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I teach the 3-day body classes and questions about entities. It's amazing. Like we are entities with a body, and then
yeah,
there's entities that don't have bodies. Sometimes, like you said, for a million years, and they don't even know it.
yeah.
So the number of questions that come up in
Mm-hmm,
that class about it is
mm-hmm.
quite amazing because it's a class for bodies.
Yeah,
But how often entities are part of what people want to have more clarity around. So I'm
yeah,
also excited for that for this class. I'll get
exactly.
excited.
And I mean, I've been going to class with Shan for a while, and like, we all know that Gary used to channel back in the day, like 30 years
I
ago or
saw him.
so,
I was,
right?
yeah,
And you've told me that story, how Raz looked at you, like when you were thinking about something. And so there are these kind entities that desire consciousness to grow and support. And one of the first few classes of access was a channel class, which is now called the bars. So
right.
we have been receiving some support and cooperation from these beings, but it's not about making them the source of creation. It's about acknowledging that, it's there, like nature. You take a break and you go there, go to rejuvenate and find out what it does for your body. So there are all of these beings that are there, who are there to support.
And contribute. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else you'd like to add?
Whether it's now or later, my question would be is, I am constantly wondering, what are you more interested in, getting free or maintaining your story? That, oh, there are entities, I hear them, and like, there is drama. Or you can step into knowing what you know about it and actually use it to create your life. And that's all it actually is about,
Mhm.
having this language. Use it if you like, don't use it if you don't like. And at the end of the day, it's about empowering you to have one more tool, one more possibility to have more ease in life.
Very cool. Yeah. Creating your life.
Uh-huh.
Creating your life instead of being the effect of it. And
Exactly.
so much, people get so much out of this class. So you're coming to San Francisco soon, like it's in a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
What are the dates?
11th, 12th, and 13th of
Right.
December.
So there's an intro
Uh-huh.
night on the 11th, and then we had the 2-day
Correct.
class after on the weekend. And it's not just at my house. It's not just in San Francisco. It's also going to
Yeah,
be
you can
online.
join online and, offline, both.
We prefer you online. The class. Ask questions, find out more. I'm going to have
Yeah,
a great time.
and ask for these
And
entities
I think
to
the
bring you the
entities,
money for the class.
I think the entities that I just like kind of connected with are like excited. Maybe that I would say I felt really excited at, and they're like, oh, talk to the
Exactly.
entities, come into our town. So
Uh-huh.
what are we going to create here? What are you going to create? What are the people that join are going to create? So if you have questions, you can get a hold of Mohnish or me. I'll have some links below wherever we post this video for all the information. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Glenna. It was a
Thank
pleasure. And see you, San Francisco, and all the ghosties. What else is possible?
you. See you soon.